Hey there, Amplifiers. Thank you for tuning in. And we've got a powerful session today. We're going to be talking about some cool things. I've been inspired. This past week, I went to an event down in Orlando and actually got to see Tim Tebow do a keynote presentation talking about overcoming adversity. And I was invited to this special event by one of my clients, Michael McCormick. He does some financial advisory work and helps others that he serves the American dream. And it was at a lovely event, a lovely location, I should say, the event. It was memorable. And I even got to meet the Snow Queen, Princess Elsa. And why I'm bringing this up is because that's kind of some of the theme that we're going to be talking about today, is talk about doing things that are memorable. And our guest today, I'm sure you're wondering who this might be, is a rock star professional when it comes to helping people in the accounting bookkeeping world. In particular, has a great track record with construction companies. Now, she does QuickBooks. She does job cost accounting for construction and manufacturing firms. She also is a consultant, a trainer, product developer, and author. So she's been around and she's really experienced. She's a pro. In fact, she is an Intuit QuickBooks multi-year top 100 pro advisor. And I'm glad to welcome to Growth Amplifiers, Diane Gilson. Diane, glad to have you here.
Hey there, Kenny. Nice to be here. I appreciate your inviting me.
Appreciate to have you here and to have you share with us some of your insights, just so we can get in tune, so people can get a sense of who you are and what you're about. If you could tell us a little bit more about your business and how you got started in it, that'd be great.
Oh gosh, I kind of went through I learned how to be a bookkeeper and then ultimately ended up in a CPA firm and earned my CPA. Spent 13 years in banking and then decided to start my company in 1994. And in one of my very first networking meetings, one of the ladies there said, well, hey, you need to go over to the Home Builders Association because my husband's a builder and those guys need some help. And she was, handling her husband's books. But she said in general, the construction people really needed to learn how to do job costing. And I had come out of the banking arena where we had been doing project-based costing. So that seemed like a natural fit. And QuickBooks was coming to the forefront at that point. So that was the package I ended up choosing.
So I really like the fact that, you very early on found that, hey, I could probably focus on a particular industry that has the need, they have the challenge. And by doing so, I can really get to know them, their challenges, and what they need individually, and craft an experience that will really resonate with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not trying to serve everyone the exact same. You really get to understand your customers and provide an amazing experience for them.
Yeah, I was pretty sure when I started in with my company that I would want a niche working with a particular area, because trying to be a jack of all trades for everybody to do everything can be quite an exercise in frustration, and learning curve. Every time you take on a different client in a different industry, you have to go through learning curve. And so I joined the Home Builders Association. My first two, I thought, wow, that could really work. And I also loved the personalities of people who were in the construction industry because they were so direct and, it's very easy to communicate with them. And picked up my first two clients right away and started learning what they wanted and started going to construction conferences and everything that I could try to learn about the whole industry, particularly the residential side of construction. I went out and just tried to be a sponge and absorb it all.
So that's very smart. And it's a good segue to get into our big three of today. So just as an overview, if you're tuning in, this is kind of like some of the talking points we'll be going over. The dark side of technology. So how technology is disrupting the industry and what we can do about that. We're going to have a conversation about that. Then we're going to get into how to differentiate your business, how to stand out from the competition. And we're already starting to talk a little bit about that right now, but we'll kind of dive in a little bit deeper, talk about some of the great things Diane has done. And then how to excite and ascend your current customers. So if you look on Diane's website, for an example, she's got a lot of different ways she can provide value to different people, from little small things if people are just getting started to larger programs if people are looking to take a deeper dive. And that's something that everyone can do. But it takes, having that focus and being able to get started. So let's start with that. Actually, the first one, the dark side of tech, how technology is disrupting your industry and what to do about it, and why this kind of became a talking point real quick, is when I was at the conference this past week. It was with advanced advisors, but more like financial advisors, not just business advisors, but financial advisors. And they're talking about like how some of this technology that comes out where people can trade or buy crypto on their phones, while it seems really great to some people, it can actually be it can actually cause them more harm than good. And the same could be said in the accounting world, where people think, oh, I've got these really great things I could do just to automate, but there's a dark side to that too. So let's talk about what you're seeing, because I know you help people with cash flow and getting their numbers in order. Some of the challenges you see that technology is causing, and what can be done about it.
Oh gosh, in the construction industry as a whole, technology is everywhere. Everything from the cameras that people use to do walkthroughs inside homes, using drones to overlook construction sites, and so on. So I think the biggest challenge for people in the construction industry, from just the big umbrella part, is to try to keep up with it. Everything's changing so fast. And of course, most company owners are very involved in day-to-day operations, and it can be, I think that's probably the darkest side. It can be a challenge. And so the companies that can stay on top of things are going to definitely pull out ahead of the companies that aren't.
Now, in regards to like the accounting world, for instance, if people are thinking, oh, I've got this technology, kind of it automates a lot of this stuff for me. What's the challenge that can cause someone if they are starting to rely too much on technology versus working with maybe an experienced pro who really knows the difference?
Yeah. So over many years, of course, I work heavily in QuickBooks. So QuickBooks Desktop, Pro, Premier, and Enterprise, as opposed to QBO. That's another topic. Okay, but my experience is that Desktop is the best fit for construction companies and for job costing. But I think one of the things that happened over the years is that marketing is a wonderful thing, but marketing just kind of came out and said, oh, if you can write a check, you can do your own accounting. And, there's a reason why it takes people 4 to 5 years to get through accounting classes.
Right.
It's not just something that you can, in spite of the name Intuit, that you can intuitively pick up. There are basic principles that you need to know. And I run into all sorts of circumstances where people have gone in and just kind of tried to do it themselves. And I like to use the analogy with them. I'd say, well, if you came to my house and I wanted a project done, and I said, oh, just forget the blueprints. Don't worry about that. And the foundation, I'm sure that's fine. Can you just start with the drywall and redo the kitchen that way with the drywall? And without the plan, without the structure, and so on. And they laugh. They're systems people, so they get it, but they realize that they've jumped in without the right knowledge or training. And of course, cleaning up those kinds of messes can be difficult and costly for them. And in many cases, people say, I just need to start over. So we've got a tool for that too, if they need to do that.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Get out of jail free card. You done messed up, and now we can clean this up. So I think that's really important for people to hear. So the thing is, when we get this marketing going on. Granted, I do marketing, but there's an evil side to that too. There's a dark side to anything.
Exactly.
There's a
Yeah.
pros and cons to anything. But we see like, hey, this technology can come out and give us the ability to do things, and we don't know what we don't know. So it's far too easy to just start doing something, looking at something else, and thinking, oh, we've got covered. But it's those little differences that a professional or a guide would see that you might not be privy to. That could be the difference between hitting your mark or falling way short. Because just
Right.
like a trajectory, a small little change in angle, you can't even see the change in my finger here. It looks like it's just going up and down, but I'm actually changing the angle. But in a distance, that would be a huge difference in what it would hit, is because the trajectory changes with those little adjustments.
Exactly. Exactly. And people, I believe lots of times, we hear the phrase, I'm going to run my business by the numbers, but very few people really do.
Or,
If they don't understand, company owners and the top financial people, which in many cases in construction might be their spouse. If they don't know their numbers, if they don't understand their numbers and they don't know how to use them in the right way, if they're just back burning all that until it's tax time, I mean, they're missing out on the huge benefit that's sitting right there in front of them, and that they can really increase their profitability when they understand what kinds of numbers they need to be looking at and then how to use them.
I think that's huge. Right now, I'm working with a couple coaches right now to put out a new book and a new keynote, and that's one of the things I'm really trying to get people to understand is you've got to get a fresh perspective from a guide in the different areas of your business. Now, whether you want to choose to work with them or not, if you need their help, you may not. But it doesn't hurt to get someone's fresh perspective and make sure that you're doing the right things. Make sure you're not missing opportunities or doing some things that are actually holding you back, right? So
Exactly.
if you're tuning in and you're in this line of work, you're in that construction line of work, and you haven't had someone look over your books, like, we've got an accountant, doesn't matter, or we have a CPA that we've used forever. Maybe that doesn't even matter either.
No.
I would suggest getting a fresh look and see if there's some things that could be improved. It's kind of like Geico. Spend 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more on your car insurance, except for it's probably much, much more when you look at the impact of your business. So thank you for sharing your perspective on our topic. We're going to move on to topic number 2, because you do an amazing job here. But this is how to differentiate your business. How do you stand out from the competition? You can just look at your website and see, wow, you've got programs, you're an author, you go around, you're speaking, you're certified, definitely standing out. And I'm kind of getting to that, but I'll let you share some of the things that you've done that have helped you stand out from the competition. And as people are tuning in, they can think about how they may be able to apply some of those principles.
Okay. Well, job costing, I do want to mention that job costing can be used by manufacturing and by service companies, as well as by construction. Okay. But based on some marketing insights, I've heard, pick one lane and advertise, maybe not advertise because I don't advertise, but work around that one lane. But I still have people come in to work with me from the manufacturing industries and also from service industries.
Yes.
The concept behind job costing is so that you know how much you're making on every major project that you're working on. Okay. So I kind of started out broader based. And then as I kept going to conferences and finding out what the need was on the construction industry, and I kept learning more and more about them, I started learning how I could speak the language with them. So, for instance, I could explain, well, gosh, we could either remodel your current chart of accounts and your QuickBooks file, or we could build a clean house next door on a lot that you have. And then, it's kind of like your furniture. If you got good furniture in the old place, you could move it to the new house. Okay. Or if you love your old house, then we'll go through a remodeling project. But just like when you're doing a remodeling job, it might get a little messy while we're in the process of doing it. But being able to talk to people in the industry in terms that relate to how they think. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that has been a really big thing. And then also just talking to people, talking to company owners and saying, what do you need to know? And then bending QuickBooks to our will to get them what they need. So that concept of beginning with the end in mind as to what kinds of information is going to make you more knowledgeable, make it so that you can make better decisions, um, and become more profitable. That's the whole thing. I mean, you're running a business in order to make
Right.
profits, and if you're just kind of doing it as things come at you and not doing it with a strategy, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and knowledge about which kinds of jobs are earning you the most, then you can get yourself in trouble pretty quickly.
Hey there, this is Kenny from Growth Amplifiers, here to ensure you get your awesome ideas into action to grow and improve your business and achieve your full potential. Take the first step by visiting growthamplifiers.com and clicking the Start Here button. Take the assessment to get your personalized score. Then select from free resources to learn how to improve your score. Don't wait. Be proactive and take action now by visiting growthamplifiers.com and clicking the Start Here button. And always keep on amplifying. Now, let's get back to the show. I love what you mentioned there, and just you brought up a good point. You don't solely work with just construction companies, but that is one of the lanes that you said, what, this is one that I really can gel with, and
Hmm.
I'll communicate to them. And you can help a lot of different businesses with different backgrounds when it comes to job costing. And I
Yes.
love the fact that um, you really found where the need is, and then you said, I'm going to double down and really get good at this one thing. So you can
Hmm.
niche with your service, or you can niche with your industry, or you can do a little bit of both. But it's really getting good at what you do. Got a comment coming in here from Andy Lyons. Knowing your numbers is key to reaching profitability
Right.
and sustainability. So thank you for sharing that in. Highly appreciate that. Um, it definitely is key, and it's part of what we do to help people differentiate is by really letting people know what we specialize in, right?
Hmm.
So thank you for sharing that. We're going to move on to the third question, and this is how to excite and ascend your customers, um, and kind of like how do you create a memorable experience, which a little bit more like two questions. So, but the thought is here, we have an opportunity to connect with our customers, and some people just kind of like check the boxes and they move on. Others really do a great job of providing a great value, being known for something, and growing the relationship through time by continually sharing different ways that they can help their clients and their customers. Because I know you can help your customers in many different ways. How do you share that with them in a way that they can get that you can really provide value to them in other ways?
Well, we have a lot of blog articles that just explain various aspects of accounting and job costing. I have online training programs.
Hmm.
And people can work with me one to one. We're also an Intuit solution provider so that we can kind of link up that whole concept of getting you into the right level of software package to meet your specific needs. And then we have templates that are pre done. So we've
Hmm.
got a pretty big, I don't know, you might want to call it a campus of possibilities, a wide variety of ways that people can work with us at different price levels. Some people have more time than others. Some people say, gosh, I just need a lot of one to one experience to help
Hmm.
me get things done. Other people say, hey, show me a video and I'm good. Okay. Show me a video and a handout and I'm good to go. Um, so we do our best in our products to make sure that people don't need me But if they do need me, then I am available, to do consulting work. So giving them lots of choices as to how they'd like to work with us.
So that is the way to do it, folks. It's the way you productize your business in such a way where you can record it once or produce it once and leverage it many times. And if you think, oh, doesn't that cheapen the value? No, it doesn't. It actually makes it a better win-win, because someone can actually, if they're learning something, they can revisit it. They can share it with their team. They don't have to schedule more time, which would elevate the cost for them. Plus, it's better for your own time, because then you're being more efficient and effective. And then if people do need the one-to-one personalized attention, they could definitely get it. But this is exactly what we're all about: is how can we create the best possible experience and provide the best impact to those we serve. So awesome that you're doing that. I really love seeing the things that you put on and produce. Now, I didn't tell you about this, so we're getting ready to go into our hot seat. She's like, oh my goodness, Kenny, you put me on the spot with a live hot seat. But this is really easy stuff. We're just trying to get some of your picks, some of the things that you like off the top of your head. And no pressure, but ideally the more unique, the better. But I know you could do a great job with this, because you're an awesome rockstar professional. So if you wouldn't mind just sharing a tool that comes to mind that might help with productivity. Any tool would do. Just a tool that comes to mind.
I love Snagit from TechSmith.
All right.
I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but it is a screen capture tool that you can do all sorts of things when it comes to writing up procedures. You can record videos. You can do some, minor editing in Snagit. It runs about $50. And that's one tool that if you took it away from me, you'd find me sitting in the corner and weeping. So
yes, productivity tool, Snagit, definitely worth checking out. Now we're looking for a book. It could be an audiobook or a written book, just a book that you thought, hey, this was kind of cool.
Oh my gosh. I try to knock off at least a book a month. Yeah, because I listen to Audible.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to kind of mix it up. So, oh gosh.
The Kenny.
Yeah, I can't.
Are you tuning into one now?
Yeah, right now I'm listening to a novel. I'm not going to share the name of that. So, well, in terms of novels in general, I love, if it's a novel, I'll pick out the Diana Gabaldon series.
Mm-hmm.
She's written the Outlander series, which also has hit the TV screens. But there's so many great business books out there. Just jump into one and learn. Okay.
Have you? So I'm reading Atomic Habits for the second or third time.
It's in my Audible library, and I haven't listened to it yet. I've got several hundred books out there. Too many books, too little time. But yeah, I've heard really good things about that particular book. So
the reason I'm promoting it is I really like it. I think it fits your nature too. It's about working on changing and optimizing the systems that lead to results versus just focusing on the goal itself. If you optimize the system, you get better results. So I'm a big fan of that.
When I'm working with clients, I'm always recommending, they'll say something and it will bring to mind a specific book, and so I'll recommend a book. But you kind of caught me unawares there, so it's hard to say one above all the others.
I know it is a challenge. How about any event that you like attending, you want to attend, anything that you'd be like, hey, this is kind of cool, or this was a great experience when I went here?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd have to split it between two. I haven't gone for the last couple of years due to the current situation, but the International Builders Show, which typically brings in a little over 100,000 people. I think maybe this year they were down in the 70,000 plus, but I don't have those numbers at hand, but that's what I heard. It's a humongous show with so many cool products. I mean, all the manufacturers are bringing in all their new products and showing them off and fabulous displays. And it's just, it's like being at a fair for adults. Okay. Well, ooh, look at that. Oh, wow. Isn't that neat? And, some things you go, yeah, well, I could never afford it, but it sure is fun to look at. So, um, so that's one. And then I've been a lifetime attendee up until the last couple of years of something called Scaling New Heights that's put on by Woodard for advanced pro advisor level people. So that's always a great experience.
I can't see if I'm spelling that right or not. All right, so you're making it through this, flying colors there. We've got just a couple more. So we're looking for like an online show. It could be a podcast, it could be a YouTube, or it could even be something on Netflix. If you just like something you could tune into that you're like, hey, this is pretty uplifting, or something that gives me value.
Yeah, I follow a marketer by the name of Jim Edwards. And Jim Edwards has worked hand in hand in the past with another marketer called Russell Brunson.
Hey, another guy.
Yeah, okay. So Jim Edwards has created a lot of wizards where you can put in some good basic information, and he gets you going on the content side so that you're not sitting there staring at a blank sheet of paper when it's time to communicate with your people. And so I really like what he has to offer. He's got a series of free podcasts as well as other products that you can purchase. So he's got a great book that you can get for just the shipping and handling called Copywriting Secrets. So
Cool.
it's been pretty much a bestseller, but that's a great book. So there. Okay, we came
There's
up
the
with
book.
a book. Okay, called Copywriting Secrets by Jim Edwards.
And then the final thought is just a thought leader, maybe someone that might be a good guest for the show, somebody that you thought, hey, that's a pretty good person. They've inspired me in some way, shape, or form.
Right. I belong to a group called the Construction Consultants Mastermind, and there are several people in there that I think are thought leaders. I think a great one, somebody who helped me so much early on when I was just starting to learn how to use online tools. His name's Dan Bauman. He's with Chief Experts. He works on the CAD side, but he was out there doing this advanced stuff probably 5 years before most everybody else was. And I think you'd pick up some great insights from Dan. He works with this CAD software, but he's a far-reaching thinker. He's always loves to try new technology, and he's just such a nice guy, and I know he's helped many people.
All right. Well, that is the hot seat, and we'll kind of leave with a conclusion thought. Actually, this is supposed to go later in the show. I'm supposed to go to this next part. I just realized that. All right. So this is taking action. So Diane has been grateful or gracious enough to come here and share some of her expert knowledge. And she's really a great thought leader. So she does some amazing things when it comes to helping people get their job costing in order. And she even has a camp on her website. You can go to buildyournumbers.com and see all the different blogs she has, see the different resources she has. She has some programs, different workshops, things available on her website. It's definitely worth checking out. I'd highly recommend just take a quick moment, go to buildyournumbers.com and check it out. You might learn something.
I've even got something free for you. We have an ebook that I wrote, and it's called A Tale of Four Companies. Okay. And it kind of compares and contrasts 4 different companies who are at different levels or layers in their job costing. Okay. And so if people want to get this, they can go to buildyournumbers.com / and the word tale, TALE, not what a mouse has, but a TALE. So buildyournumbers.com/tail, and then enter your information and you'll get that ebook. And I think it's in the 40-page range. So it's a quick read. I mean, you can get through it pretty quickly. So you'll get the PDF and be able to
Super
get that.
cool. So now here's where we go to this. This is the last thing. So we're wrapping up the show. We're glad you could tune in. If you gain an idea that would help you amplify your business, that's awesome. We do appreciate any comments, questions, shares, likes, or appreciations. That's very much support appreciated. But as we leave, one of the traditions we have is if you'd be willing to share just something you've picked up on your journey that might help others on theirs. It doesn't have to be related to your trade and your business, but if it does, that's okay too. But just something that you've picked up on your journey that you wouldn't mind sharing with others on theirs.
Oh, you're asking me for that?
Yes,
Oh,
sorry.
gosh.
Sorry, Diane. That was
okay. All right. Persistence. I know I've got the plaque somewhere, but there's a saying about persistence. And you can get discouraged, you can get tired, but if you just keep at it, and maybe you have to set something aside for a little bit, but it's persistence that's going to get you where you want to go. So
I love it. People need to hear it. People need to hear it. I see it all the time. Sometimes they're making traction. They're not quite there yet. And they start to get tired and starting to let go. It's like if you let go, there you go.
You've done all that work for nothing.
Yeah.
At that point, you have to do those last few yards.
Yes. So that goes, rewind it, go to the advisor's picks and pick something that gives you energy, that you can get some information from, that gives you a new perspective, that gets you to take new action. It's what Growth Amplifiers is all about. Diane, Thank you so much for tuning in, for sharing your expertise and your knowledge. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We hope to see you on a future Growth Amplifiers podcast and wish you an amazing and productive day. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Kenny.
To show your support, take a moment to amplify this message by sharing it online. To connect with me or gain more business growth insights, visit www.growthamplifiers.com. Thank you for your support.